Gotta ask my favorite question. Let me borrow $2 million.
Man, I got it. Just let me get some change. I got it.
You got to get some change for $2 million. You must got a $5 million bill.
And, I got it. Then oxtails. That's where the money is.
Right, right. Hey, that's a hot commodity right now. Tendonism got all the
Yeah,
oxtails.
right.
Tell us who you are, how you got started, and what made you passionate about cooking and becoming a personal chef.
Well, I'm Salim Abdulrahim, the people's personal chef, and changing lives one meal at a time. But the biggest thing about the delicious food and the taste of magic, because I'm actually a close-up magician, so that's the best way to get tips. I don't care how good the food is; they just want to hug you and take a pic. I'd rather have a little money. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're a chef, you got part magician in you.
Yeah,
Magician. You 50% magician.
right. Everywhere.
Right.
That's a fact.
So what got you into cooking? What got you started?
Well, I come up in the house with six siblings, well, five siblings. It was six of us, four boys and two girls. And the girls cooked throughout the year, but on the holidays, my mother made sure that the boys prepared all the meals because she didn't want us to have to depend on no woman. So my mom would say, get in there and cook something for everybody. And I hit the cabinet, I got macaroni, no cheese. Peanut butter, no jelly. And then she said, hurry up, so I started creating meals for a family at her.
Now, tell us about the famous tamales. I always got to bring up the tamales, man.
Well,
When I first met you, I had the tamales. I ain't been right since.
a lot of people don't know that it's an urban style of tamales outside of just the Mexican style or the Spanish
Right.
style in the hubs. I come from a city in Toledo, Ohio. You can go to just about any corner store or bar, and somebody grandma is making the homemade tamales for that area. You know what I mean? So we started
Right.
learning how to roll at a young age, as far as get in here and help us roll these tamales.
Okay. Mom's got you started because she made you cook on certain holidays and so and so, so and so. So the chef part, how did you ended up turning what your mother did and said to lead up to being a personal chef?
Well, I met the D Chef Cuisine, the Anthony Jr. They were delivering meals, and I'm like, how do you start doing that? What kind of chef is that just be out and about? And you was telling me about how you seen hey, where's my personal chef? And you're like, well, hold on, that a personal chef, I can deal with that. And I did the same thing. I said, you know what, that'll do it. I said, I want to try it. You know what I mean? As I told you, what I mean, if you ever need
Right.
some help, to call me, and I'm willing to learn.
Right. So you came in, you learned, and and I basically, when I teach, it's kind of hard to teach sometimes because as a teacher, you've been doing it so long that it's become second nature to you. And when you teaching it, you have to kind of have patience so you don't get frustrated because they haven't been in the industry and they new to it. But it was funny because when you were there, it was like you taught me some things. And as a teacher, my motto is the best way to learn something is to teach it. Because when you have to teach it, then you have to dig in depth just in case you get caught off guard and somebody asks you a question and you don't know it. It looks ugly to be the teacher and then somebody says, hey, what's this? And you don't know it. And people can tell when you just kind of winging it,
Right.
but you had a lot of initiative, first of all, a lot of get up and go. So to me, to have you there was easy. It was almost like, hey, a couple classes. Come on, man, go with me.
Right.
Go with me to help me do some of my events. So, that was a blessing to me to have you there, have your own, you had the knives flown in from Japan, you had the special knives flown in, what I call it, the scalpel, them globals, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you no lie. When I see a global knife, my breathing gets heavy because I know the power of that knife,
Right.
and I remember going places and somebody's like, oh, this knife $150, this knife $200. I'm like, man, you crazy until you use it, until and you can hear it slice through the air. I cut a piece of chicken and cut the guy standing next to me at the same time. You got a good knife.
I think that's the start of everything too. You got to have good things to work with. You got to be able to work with anything, but it's so nice to have a good set of knives.
Yeah, you gotta your tools are very important. A dull knife is actually a dangerous knife. It's more dangerous than a sharp one. You cutting through something, you forcing it through, and then it finally breaks through. You don't know because you can't see through it. And then there's your hand, there's a finger, and we on the way to the hospital. So you're just like a professional sports player. Your utensils and your equipment is very important. Like I say, when you was there, you caught on, really appreciate you. You had no problem about investing in you. You can't ask me to invest in you and you won't.
Exactly, that's true. But you know what the biggest thing that I learned that everybody know, but you really never think about that will make you successful is the in the French word I think it was mise en place, just proper
Yes.
preparation.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
just if you prepare, you could do anything. You just got to be prepared.
Yeah. If you prepared, you could get past some mistakes. You could get past something that happened unexpectedly. You drop something or something overcooked, you forgot it, or you left something.
Hmm.
But if you got that get up and go and that creativity and you can think outside the box, you can make it happen. And that's the one thing I liked about getting into the personal chef part because you kind of you your own boss. You get to go, you get to be creative, you talk to the client, making suggestions, and most of the time that's why they want you. They don't want to have to think it through and think the menu through or where you setting up at or something to that effect. They want you to figure all that out. So that's what you're getting paid for. That's why we called you. And again, just I seen that in you. It wasn't surprised that next thing you went from class to personal chef, not only in Cincinnati but in Toledo also. But you got any events coming up? Anything jumping?
Well, just a personal event I want to do, just to invite people out because one of my biggest things or passions is to people to try things and enjoy.
Yep, it's getting outside that box, and it's funny because coming up through the ranks, I've cooked for other organizations, other restaurants, and they always different. Somewhere in Vietnamese, over here is French, Italian, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean. So and over a period of time. So then that's what I'm working for people. I'm cooking, I'm their chef, and so on, so and so. So then I turn into a personal chef, and then somebody calls me and says, "Hey, come over here and help me open this place up and put together a menu." And I start putting together a menu, and they look at it and they're like, "Well, no, let's put some fries on there. Let's put a burger with, you can only do that so much." The last podcast was talking about that. Chef Bina, just getting out because it's a repertoire, a lot of things that I know, but when I, introduce them to people, they want to play it safe. They want to stay, within a comfort zone.
Right. And what that's another thing too. You gotta be able to move out of your own personal comfort zone because you're not gonna like personally everything you cook and you shouldn't. And a lot of people say they chefs and they only cook the things that they like. Well, that's what they passionate about, the thing that they know they can cook.
So into what are you in Toledo now? Because you was in Cincinnati. To me, the personal chef was perfect because you like me. You like to float. You get bored easy. You need new challenge, new excitement, new colors. This and that. So yeah. Yeah, it's the personal chef life was perfect for me. I was at a crossroads. I was sitting somewhere and I'm like, man, what do I want to do the rest of my life? And I was looking at some stuff and they had physical therapists, it was going to be the high paying job. I'm like, physical therapist. And going through this magazine one day and I that was the first time seeing the magazine, never seen the magazine again. And it was all this high end stuff in there, $3 million engagement rings and $20 million yachts. And on the back of it, it had these small ads. In the ads, Donald Trump hotels. When you rent a room, you get a personal chef with the room. I'm like, what is a personal chef? You know, I'm like,
Right, right.
I like that, because most of the time, hotel rooms, I'm going in, I got my equipment, my utensils or whatever, the food, I can knock it out and I'm done and I'm gone. I ain't got 8 hours or 10 hours standing on my feet, over a grill or saute stations, so on so and so. So it made sense to me. Did some research. Cincinnati State offered the class. Boom, going to Cincinnati State. After my first quarter, they didn't have enough interest in being a personal chef, so they killed the curriculum. And I'm like, whoa, Chef Lepaski, who was head of the personal chefs at the time at Cincinnati State, said, we're going to revamp the curriculum and you can eventually finish the course. So, that was happy for me. And just coming out and I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay, I know what personal chefs do. How do I get an opportunity to do it? My pastor at the time used me for a couple men's events. And then he said, how's business? And I was like, man, he's like, I got somebody I want to introduce you to. He introduced me to a personal trainer. I'm like, this kind of makes sense. I'm kind of health conscious, was always into sports and working out and stuff. And I started doing meal prep for no, I started doing desserts, like high protein desserts. And after that, I'm walking out one day and somebody says, "Hey, what we coined meal prep." She's like, "Do you do real food?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, I need meals during the week. So that's where it was born. That's where it all happened, man. So how did it kind of venture for you? How did it kind of take off?
Well, I started doing the same thing as far as meal preps. Meal preps got real popular for me, and it was some people want to gain weight. Some people want to lose weight. Some people don't
Right.
have time to cook, and some people need you to regulate how much of this and how much of that. And it was easy for them.
Mhm.
And I learned the best way to do it, no matter how many clients you have. If you do it on that one day for the week, you can make good money one day out of the week without people calling you, you running back and forth and things of that nature. The only thing about it is that when you meal prep, and I learned this from you, and when you hit that Kroger, you cannot stop and talk to people that you know in Kroger's or cut into your money. You got to get in and
Right.
out of there.
Time is money.
Yeah, and you got to walk and talk.
We got to make it quick.
Right,
Yeah, because time is money. When you are the business as a personal chef, you are the business, and time is money. If you shopping, somebody want to talk, and somebody catch you in the store, and it's conversations usually quick. Let's exchange numbers or text. I'm out of there because to me the client's important. It's very important, of the utmost important, to make sure that they get what they want. Because, like you say, it could be somebody trying to lose weight. It could be somebody trying to gain muscle. It could be somebody trying to get in a wedding dress. It could be just a busy
exactly.
professional, and specialty diets. I used to do a lot of specialty diets. Somebody's had a lady that was a principal at a school up north, and she had two kids, and they was protein intolerant, and that was new. That was a challenge
Right,
to make meal prep for them that didn't have any protein in it. Somebody's just had gastric bypass surgery, and sometimes I'll get they'll actually give me the paperwork from the doctor, saying, "Hey, this is the requirements that I need, so I can live the rest of my life, somewhat normal after my surgery." So it's and I mean, it took off. It just took off. I mean, from people to dogs.
yeah. Oh, that's right. You got your own dog food line.
Yes, sir. So it took off because a lot of the scraps, you get some chicken. Me as a chef, I'm doing an event for 150 people. I go buy a case of chicken. I'm trimming the chicken to get ready for this event. Normally we throw that away. That's liquid. That's gold to a dog.
Exactly.
That's and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. It's another level to this because we throwing away, and because I got into the food waste thing, and but even still, a lot of that food and a lot of the scraps and stuff that we throw away is dog edible.
Right, and they appreciate it more.
Oh yeah, and it's real food. It ain't. I don't have anything against kibble. I don't know what they putting in it, but this is real food. This is not dehydrated chemicals.
Yeah,
you know,
it
this
ain't
is
it
real
ain't
food.
flavored. It's the real flavor.
Right. It's the real flavor, man. Because that's how they born to eat. They born in the wild. They born to actually eat it raw. So people prefer to feed their dogs raw. Some of them do want it cooked. So that's pretty much it. We got an event Sunday with Big Money Ron, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna cater it. I'm gonna put your name in there. I'm gonna say this is gifts from Chef Dream.